Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust video. Alright, so this is another video where I will review your formations, those formations that you have submitted in the formations tag. If you submit it all over the place in general or in polls, I'm not going to be able to find them, and if you're not in this video, you make it hard for me. Like, put it in one place, don't scatter it all over the channel. Alright, so as always, quick disclaimer, I don't claim that any of the improvements made here will definitely make you jump higher in arena leagues, but that's the objective right there. So if you're not able to climb, then I apologize. I tried my best. I don't claim to be the best player out there, but I love helping the newer players, especially if you're clueless in how to basically set up your formations. Also, there are a number of you, like there's a ton of you actually submitting to the formations. Like, holy moly, I wasn't expecting like that many people. I was thinking of maybe doing this series like once a week, but at the current pace that you guys are just like spamming your formations over on the Discord channel, I might need to up my game a bit. Alright, so let's just jump into it. We're gonna have a look. First user featuring Kaito121. This guy's the collector, man. Collector. Alright, so let's have a look what this guy has. One Hell. Alright, Ceres. Followed by a Laura. Very interesting. And then it's a Naresa at a position 4. Towards a Velfern, followed by... Alright, so I'm going to try to set up this formation. I'm going to tell you, hopefully you guys can learn a thing or two. I'm going to like try and point out a couple of mistakes. Not really mistakes, but rather the weakness of this formation right here. Alright, let's go. Alright, so this is what I came up with. Very interesting. Alright, a couple of mercenaries I do not have. So Vincent, I have to replace that because I do not have Laura. I don't have Vals, so we're gonna use Viola to represent that. And Lilian, I don't have Lilian, so I'm gonna use Arkan to basically put that as an example. Alright, so straight up, Hell first, that's good and all, but if you have a look at the formation right here, after Hell it's Ceres. Ceres goes to Vincent. Vincent goes to Naresa. Alright, so this might be a problem, might not be as much of a problem depending on the league you're on. If you are facing off with a lot of Vals and Leto, so I know normally this is what the global players usually face, right? Leto, Vals, they're going to be everywhere. Alright, so most likely this Vincent is gonna die. So what happens if Vincent die? Imagine Vincent dying there. Poof. Disappeared. Poof. What happened? Ceres will buff Naresa. Alright? And then you basically lose the potential of Ceres right there, because Ceres is buffing both Naresa and, in your case, Lilian. So it's kind of bad that you are doing it this way. It's good, but at the same time it's bad. Ideally, you want a chain. You don't want a weak link in your support chain. So I would highly suggest you to go for something like this. So instead of putting Naresa as 4, the 4th one, ideally you want to put Naresa as the 3rd one. So this is going to help you a little bit, I think. So we're going to go for something like this. Something like that would be better. So Ceres, 2 Naresa, 2 Velfern. Alright, so let Velfern charge up. And then you have your Laura. Alright, so your Laura, in this case, you can put her like almost anywhere. She doesn't need to be here. But Laura, you can buff either your Vals or your Ventana next, whichever that you prefer. So go for something like this. I think this is better. Also, you have Lilian right there, like in that particular lane. I'm not sure how many Velferns do you encounter. If you encounter lots of Velfern and your Seer is constantly dying straight up in the first position, you might want to just move Lilian there. Like, that would be better. The reason is, if you put Lilian here, Lilian doesn't have stun, so Velfern, who will most likely attack next, will hit, in your case Laura, will hit Vals, and will hit Lilian. So these three mercenary right here will basically get hit, right? But when you move your Lilian here, it might seem like a dumb move, but trust me, it's not. If you don't have much Wilhelmina, this is going to work better for you, especially if you are in the lower leagues. I don't think Wilhelmina is that dominant right there. Putting like Lilian right there is going to save you. Whenever Velfern does hit Lilian right there, only Hell and your Laura will get hit. So your Vals, which is my Viola right here, is going to be safe. She's going to be safe. So that's the two fix that I would try right now, the support chain, and try and go for moving the Lilian up. Other than that, turn order is pretty much fine. Not sure why you want to use a Ventana. Maybe you want to counter opponent's taunt, but it's quite hard because most opponents try to use their taunters last. So I'm not too sure if that's gonna be good for you, but if you have better warriors, do consider using them over Ventana. I mean, especially if your Ventana is not skilled, right? If your Ventana is skilled, then she's still going to do like extreme single target damage, but otherwise I wouldn't recommend using her if you don't have any skill levels at all. Alright, so that's it for you, Kaito 121. Moving on, another formation from user Sumerian. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Alright, let's have a look. What do you have right here? So you have Walia going first, buffing Hell. So straight up, that is something that I wouldn't recommend doing at all. So Walia going first, buffing Hell, you don't need to do that. Switch them around, Hell number 1, Walia number 2. Alright, so okay, I can see that you are trying to chain it with Ceres. That is a complicated one for sure. You have 3 supporters, Walia, Ceres, and Arines. And I'm not really a big fan of your formation because you're leaving Velfen out from everything. Velfen is probably your best damage dealer. I'm not sure what skill level do you have on your Foxy, your Sigmund, and Leto. And I'm going to assume that you're new, fairly new to the game. And if you're fairly new, I'm going to assume you have Foxy at +3, Sigmund at +6 maybe. Or I'm just going to assume Foxy and Sigmund are +6. Velfen +0 is going to deal more damage than them, straight up. So there's no comparison right there. Leto +9, doable for beginners. Alright, I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to switch my formation and hopefully we'll try to have a look at how to hopefully help you build a better one. Okay, so there. So you have Walia moving first, followed by Hell. Hell charges up, Ceres buffs Foxy, Foxy moves next. And then it's kind of an odd one. Why do you not have Ceres move? Yeah, you could either do something like this, right? I mean, this is gonna look weird and you're gonna be really weak against Gunter. But you have Walia. So you have Walia. Ideally, you don't have to be afraid of that. So in terms of if you are attacking an opponent offensively, your Walia is always going to move first. So you want to go for something like this. You know what? I would move Velfen here for sure. I would move Velfen here. I'll put Lucius there. Something like this. So we're gonna go for 1, 2. So Ceres, you either want Ceres to move first or you want her to move last. In this case, let her move first so you can benefit from your taunt. Something like this. 2. So so we have 2 as Arines right there. That would be better. 2, 3 for you. So in this case, Ceres is second. So Hell charges up, Ceres buff first. Arines. You want Arines to buff as many as you can. So that's the problem. Someone will need to be sacrificed right here. And I'm going to assume your Leto is +9. Leto usually, since he is a single target hero, single target unit, he deals insane damage to one target. He doesn't need as much buff compared to everyone else. By the way, I don't have a Sigmund, which is what I'm representing my Dwen with. Okay, so in that case, you want Velfen to be next. Alright, so 3, 4. So go for something like this. 2, 3, 4. And then Walia needs to go next. So ideally you want to go for something like this. Okay, so in this case, your Leto will move first. And then if you want to, you can let your... I don't know, you can decide either Foxy or Sigmund first. Because both of them are skipped, I don't think it really matters. Yeah. I think this would downright be a better formation for a couple of things. Number 1, you don't have to be afraid of Gunters or Corets or Octavia or Wiggle. I mean not Wiggle, what's the other one? Chalkel, because of your Walia. So always make sure your Walia is the last one. Don't put her as number 1. When she's number 5, that way you can chain things easily. So 1, 2, 3, charge up. 4, 5, 6. Leto move first, then you can decide who to move next. Okay, so if your support chain is broken, let's say after the taunt, opponent has Vals, and Vals destroys your Walia, Vals destroys your Arines, no problem, right? Because let's say your Walia is still alive, but your Arines is dead. Imagine, if your Arines is dead, your Ceres will still do her job in buffing 3 units right here, right? And then Walia will buff 4 units right there. So your chain is not broken. So this is something to keep in mind whenever you want to build like a supporters. You don't want the chain to be like get jumbled and messed up whenever one of your supporters are dead. So do keep that in mind if you are new to the game. Okay, so for those of you who are watching this, that's something that you always have to keep in mind when you're building a formation. Okay, so moving on, next we have a formation from user. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm just gonna put it on the screen right here. That's in Japanese, I think. Okay, so user, whatever your name is in Japanese, like your formation a lot. You have Hell, Ceres, Arenes, okay, so followed by Charlotte, Corette. Okay, very interesting, but I have no idea what's that Lucius doing right there at position 7. That is just so weird. That is so weird. You might want to, you know, switch Lucius with Arenes in case opponent has a Vals that move first. You don't have to be that scared, right? Okay, so let's have a look. What is the purpose of this formation? What are you building? What are you trying to optimize against? I'm going to try and build it here, and then maybe I'll get a clearer picture, because right now it seems extremely messed and jumbled up. Hopefully I'll help you out a bit, try and fix it for you. Okay, so fortunately I do have all the units featured right here, so let's have a look. You have Hell move first. Okay, nice. Ceres, like this is very bad. What is this? Why is Lucius there? Lucius doesn't need a buff. So do something like this. This is going to make your formation way better. Oh my god, it's going to make your formation way better. Alright, so that's an easy fix for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really like that your formation is, there's a variety right there, but ideally your Britain is not going to do much right there. I think Charlotte doesn't need as much buff as Britain, so you could do something like this and force Britain in. Like if you are using Britain, ideally you want him to move first. You don't even need to like triple or quadruple buff him, because his purpose is not to kill the opponent. He has the ability to freeze them, and that's more than good enough most of the time. So you can either go Britain first, or if you want to, you can let Leto go first. So it's going to be up to you, something like this. Charlotte really doesn't fit in there. Like ideally you want to get like a strong defender, like a Denarisa would be a perfect combination for your team right now. I would go for something like this. If you have Lilian plus 3 would be better, but ideally a Denarisa, that would do her job. Yeah, I think it's a solid formation enough. You do have all the warriors you need. Skip a back and a front hitter, like just a bunch of formation. You could go for something like this as well if you are trying to make the best of both defensive and offensive lineup. So this way it's less of a gamble, because you have one very strong basically lane holder like Lucius. Even if your Hell and Sarah died, they will just be stuck on your Lucius alone for a very long time, and you'll have your warriors hopefully finishing off the opponent's lane holders as well. Alright, so I hope this makes sense for you. Moving on, next. Okay, so next we have a formation from user God Smurf. Alright, so I like this a lot. Hell number 1, number 2 Ceres, number 3 is Naresa, number 4 Leto, and then you have Aaron move next. That is a little bit odd. Yeah, this is something that I don't really like, because people just using Velfern. Why are you placing Velfern in the front? Like, are you trying to counter S-mode? Like, how many S-modes do you even encounter? I'm not sure if that's a good position for Velfern to be in. Ideally, to make the best out of your formation, I would move Livia to the front. I would place Velfern as the third. Alright, instead of Narisa third, Velfern is the third. Velfern needs to go to the second last. Velfern will only receive 1 buff, and that is more than enough, right? That is more than enough. So you have Velfern and Leto with 1 buff each, and Wilhelmina and Sigmund will get 2 buffs. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to try and show it to you. Okay, so something like that. I don't have Aaron, so we're going to use Sarah right here. Wilhelmina, I don't have Sigmund, so I'm going to use Duen. And of course, I don't have Livia, so I'm going to use I for an example right there. Alright, so what you want to do, the perfect fix for you right now is Velfern and Leto, they really need buff. They really need buff to do decent damage. You don't have to double or triple buff them, but at least give them 1 single buff. So what you can do, move Velfern all the way to the back. Livia, put her in front. Alright, so instead of putting Hell number 1, I do think you really need to put Livia number 1. That's probably the best spot. Livia can get rid of a lot of annoying taunters. Alright, I'm talking about Aaron, Seer. Imagine if you do this, alright? Imagine opponent has an Aaron. That Aaron basically in round 1, turn number 9, or before the end of round 1, he basically activates the taunt. Your Hell is going to hit that Aaron. Your Hell is not going to do anything to him. Maybe he will reduce his HP by 20%. And then followed by Livia to one-shot him. Like, you just wasted Hell's turn right there. Instead, you want Livia to be the first to move. So if opponent has Aaron, for example, or Seer, Livia instantly kills that Aaron or Seer. Then your Hell can work on someone else, right? She can try to hit perhaps an opponent Lito and perhaps kill that Lito. You never know. So something like this will be better. 1, 2. Ceres should be number 3. So number 4 in this case, I want you to switch Velfen. That's a better position there. So Livia goes first. Hell. Ceres buff. You want to perform a single buff on Velfen at least. Just like that. Alright, and then you have Naresa. Naresa will either need to double buff Sigmund and Wilhelmina. Alright, so I don't have Sigmund, Duen, my Sigmund. Your Sigmund is my Duen right here. So in your case, double buff Sigmund and Wilhelmina. And there you have it. Alright, so 3, 4. So obviously, don't put your Aaron as number 5. Alright, don't put your Aaron as number 5. Put him as number 9. There's no reason for him to be number 5. So you want to chain everything exactly in order in turn 1. Your formation is not, you're not chaining everything correctly. You have Lito move first, and then your chain is just broken right there. Why not complete the chain? Do something like this, do something like this, charge up, 5 to Wilhelmina first. Alright, and then you can you decide either you want your Sigmund or your Lito to move next, but have your Aaron at last. I hope that makes sense. Give it a shot and let me know if this helps you slightly better in your formation. Okay, so the last formation I'll check out for today is from user Archer. Alright, so you have Asmode number 1, Ceres number 2, Hell number 3. Again, I don't like that. No need to buff Hell. You're wasting the potential right there. Arenes. Okay, so Arenes is number... Again, I'm going to tell you why it's bad. We're going to try and build the formation right here. Okay, so this is currently what you have. Alright, so same like the first formation that I checked out on this video, I did mention that if you want to link a support, make sure that there's no dead links right here. So in your case, if opponent has Lito that happens to move in the middle, your Hell will be dead. And if your Hell is dead, your Ceres will be buffing your Arenes. And that makes no sense. There's a dead link right here. This is something that players tend to always forget. Alright, so unless, like, I'm not saying this is a bad formation unless you have a valid reason of doing that, but Hell, why are you buffing Hell? No need to buff Hell, just leave her alone, let her go as number 1, you know, put her as number 1 in terms of turn order. So Hell can be number 1. I don't like her position, move her there. Number 2 can be S-mode if you want. I have no idea why it's your S-mode right there. It's such a waste that you're not using S-mode, to be honest. You know what? Try and use your S-mode. Make good use of him, right? You have a legendary right there. I don't see why are you not trying to take advantage of him. So go Ceres on him. Go for double rage runes. He should be able to do some damage. 3. And then you have Arenes here. 4, 5. Like, look at this. This is a much better formation already. This is a much better formation. I still don't like it. I wouldn't recommend this kind of line unless you are in Ruby or Sapphire. This would be safer for you. But if you are in Gold League, Platinum League, like something which is below Crystal League, this is quite dangerous because it's quite uncertain of what units of mercenaries you are going to meet. So you can try this formation, and if you think it's not going to work for you, you might want to switch it up a little bit. I would go with something like this. This is better. Yeah, this is better. You can just move something like that, so that all your tank lane is in one lane, so you can hopefully hold off the opponents if they meet you there. And then you have your bottom lane basically consists of all your warriors and damage dealers. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a rather long one, I think, but I'm sorry if your formations are not featured right here in this video. There's quite a lot of you I wasn't expecting like that many people to submit theirs. So hopefully I'll make one more video by the end of this week. I'm not sure if I'll have the time, but I'll try my best. As always, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.